all right so ñu ngi fi isi Madi tey pour ñu waxtaan si affaire constitution bi comme ni ñu ko fi waxee woon sànq rek before call si doon duga xam nañ ne from carton to coin na gars yi isi woon nañ that old constitution draft boobu noonu back in 2020 ñu ne pour ñu pass boobu noonu si askan bi liñ bëggoon yëpp moo fa nekkoon unfortunately boobu demutoon fenn waaye xam nañ ne international pressure bi mu ngi bari te dinaa bàyyi Madi mu nuyoo ba pare mu dugg si boobu noonu xam nañ ne international pressure bi mu ngi bari so ñun man li ma foog mooy loolu moo tax ñu isi wax bi fi mu nekk nii so Madi lañ fi isi ñu bàyyi ko mu nuyoo ak askan bi yëpp ñu ngi ko dalal jàmm si BMG bi mooy first time am mu ñëw fi ak tam foog naa bi mooy first time mu duggee Facebook directly on Facebook Madi welcome.
Okay, and again, okay. Yeah, thank you. Content for news issue being here. As you said, it's the first time, and I'm glad it's a very significant time for that matter to do with our constitution. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to a fruitful conversation. Well, so I'm happy to be here, and greetings to the audience and. To you, beautiful ladies as well, you know.
Thank you so much, Madi. Yeah, Hadi acha bismillah. Sa gan bi.
Wow. Ñu ngi leen a gërëm yéen ñëpp ñuy seetaan ba pare thank you Uncle Madi. Yow gis nañ sa liggéey bi si askan bi depuis over 25 years ni nga jàppale ñëpp loo xam ne injustice la si dëkk boobu you will speak your mind no matter what. Te foog nañ ne we need people like you ñun nag xalel lañ ñu ngi toppa yéen si seen tànka yi to do good in our society just like li ngeen bi ngeen xeexee ba Yaya Jammeh génn fa tey ba ñun tamit ñu am sañ-sañi ñëw gis loo xam ne mu ngi si suñ askan bi as doomi réew pour yéen ngeen ñoo guide pour tamit enlighten askan bi so ñu ngi la ne la welcome thank you xalel lañ nag man na duma xalel am naa 50 years this year Madi.
Well,
I'm proud.
Congrats.
Wow.
Half a century, Lulu, is an achievement.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Mashallah, comme ni ko Hadi waxee rek ñun ñëpp xam nañ ne Madi yàgg na di toog di ñaxtu si affaire yi ak yelleefi askan bi te xam nañ ne xelam bi xarañ na trop si affaire yi constitution ak affaire yi loi moo taxoon ñu ne ñu indi ko fi tey ñu waxtaane moom Madi first thing lu ma la bëgg a laaj sax balaa ñoo dugg si waxtaane constitution bi do you think ne there has been a lot of pressure from the international with Barrow and the government to bring forward this draft constitution again for us, or is it just something that maybe I'm thinking of?
Probably both. Because I'm going Gambia 2016, 2017, the international community at the regional level and at the UN level, you know, Mary Gambia eating the drop, and they've invested a lot. And, you know, it was obvious a country, you know, that was undergoing authoritarian rule, come Gambia. When you overcome that, Fongadugas transitional justice program, and Lulu is in the UN, ECOWAS, and the EU supporting the Gambia government. Then when you talk about transitional justice, there are certain fundamentals there, and one of them is constitution building.
Okay.
All right. So, from 2017 to date, I know UN, AU, ECOWAS, the French government, the EU, the British government, the German government, you know, at least the Turkish government, and other countries, the Netherlands, in addition to international bodies, organizations, come International Idea, they are all engaged in the transitional justice process of the Gambia. So Lulu is about constitution building, it's about security sector reforms, it's about civil service reforms, and you know. So therefore, in a way, the Gambia government is under obligation for this a new constitution under the international, from the international community. All right, but also from the national perspective, this is a matter that also it is as citizens, and Barrow himself in his manifesto 2016, identifying actions in jail if they win the government, the election. And so a new constitution was one of them. So the, union one British constitution, 1997 constitution, they amended more than 50 times. CTRC with digger and lawyers come gay so how the 1997 constitution is not fit for purpose. So, and then of course, UNIEP, as citizens, as civil society organizations, political parties, the lot of 2018 or 17, you trigger this process of CRC by an act of parliament. We spend $116 million, 2 years of hard work. To the end, you produce a very good document, the 2020 draft, where you give the Barrow support to go and his people, because they were looking out for themselves. They want to entrench themselves in power, even though in his manifesto 2016, one of the things to fight, that is why, in fact, these 3 years, you were Hong Kong, to end self-perpetuation in power. Why then, because the draft said the term limit starts in 2017, the mom and his people, their interest is not to serve 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. I think they want to be here for before. So they definitely didn't support it. So all of those pressures and the whole background, it leaves Barrow with no choice but to bring a constitution.
Yeah.
The issue now is how is he going to bring a new constitution, giving Mom his interests and interests around his people. And that is why UNM this backdoor, clandestine. And for me, what they did is, I mean, I know the lawyers, of course, wouldn't agree, but for me, it's criminal and it's treasonable. Because the fact around definitely, because Constitution, Cabinet, then authority, any power whatsoever to write a constitution for a country. Lolo is an act of arrogance to give yourself
that power.
Such power. Wow, such makamabu amulko at all. So what I thought in the first place, Ngandem wasting Halis, 116 million, 2 years of hard work done by competent men and women in the CRC. Ngandem Yahalulu yep. And then Ngatok, you as cabinet, some 21 or 19 people have the audacity to sit somewhere and been a constitution for the people, for the whole people, and because the constitution is about our life in the present and our life in the future. So constitution is very heavy.
Yeah.
Constitution is very heavy. So, man, I don't have that arrogance. I don't have that courage to sit here and think that there might be the constitution for the Gambia. If you two people call me Madi, that's that for the constitution for the Gambia. It is the Gambian people who should write a constitution for themselves because it is their opinion about how they rule themselves. No Gambian, 1 Gambian, 2 Gambian,
or
10
20
Gambian,
people.
100 Gambian, 20 people have that authority, that makama, that position, that value whatsoever to even imagine it, much more to do it. And then to do it in a way, build a document that effectively you are hijacking the very life and future of the people to your own benefit, to your own selfish interest. Because if you look at the provisions, the kind of power they are giving themselves, the kind of rights they are taking away from us, the kind of safeguards, fences they are building around themselves, so that there will be no accountability for them. It's like pirates, hijackers, you hijack people's home. So for me, what these people did is conspiracy of the highest order, is piracy, is treason. And I hope Ghanaians sit down to really analyze analyze, assess, evaluate the meaning of this.
Yeah, and let me yeah, and let me ask you there, Hadi balanga fufu in case I'm not looking for like fufu. Because linga fini like man how one and I'm sure most of us how many one come the fact that your process within the 20 people you decide you say is actually is wrong. That's what you're saying. They shouldn't be doing that. I don't know if it's unethical or if is it legal for them to do that, or is it just unethical?
To me, it's illegal and unethical.
Both.
Because they have no legal basis to write a constitution for the country. They have an authority as the executive, given our background from an authoritarian rule with a battered constitution, having the mandate of the people to facilitate a process that will enable the people to write their constitution, such as creating a CRC, an act of the National Assembly, and then independent people, you as executive submit a proposal to the National Assembly, they endorse it as the representative of the people to say, let this body go and write the constitution, collect people's opinions honestly, fairly, objectively, just like that. And that is what CRC did. So they have that authority to do that.
Right.
But they don't have the legal and therefore the ethical authority to just sit down as cabinet and write a constitution, and you don't share any, you don't even inform, because we didn't know that they were writing a constitution. We don't know who actually wrote the constitution. Was there a writing committee? Who are the members of this committee? When did they write this thing? So they didn't inform anybody about that. The document itself, they didn't issue the document. They just announced a bill has been gazetted. So they didn't even bring the actual document to say, this is it. You share with people before you even gazette it. And then you gazette it, you announce it. And then later, people started to get the real document from, I'm sure some people must have leaked it somewhere, and then analyzing it. And then you make changes to our 2020 draft. You did not come out immediately and say, this is the reason for the decisions, the changes, the deletions I have made in the 2020 draft. You didn't even do that. I mean, that's the highest form of disrespect and arrogance. You didn't do that, to tell citizens, this is what we have changed. No courtesy whatsoever, and then Nagasetko. So, and then in it, you give yourself benefits, powers, incentives, safeguards, and to the detriment of the future of the present and the future of the country. So it is illegal. What they did for me is illegal. It's unconstitutional. And I challenge the Minister of Justice, Daura Jallow, to tell me and tell Gambians what is the legality, the basis, the legality of their action. What is the legal basis for the cabinet writing a constitution and gazetting it? I want all Gambians to ask Daura Jallow that. And I invite him to your show, me and him at a debate, or anywhere he wants, to tell me what is the legal basis for the cabinet to write a constitution for the country. Please send my challenge to Daura Jallow.
Okay, thank you.
Daura challenge Hadi union message be Daura Jallow.
Daura Jallow. Suma mbokki pol bi ñu ngi la challenge pour nga ñëw because comme li Madi wax rek doo duga ci sa néeg kër goo gis am na kilifa ak i njaboot any decision boo war a jël danga toog waxtaan ak say njaboot pour ñu war a agree in any decision booy jël so yow mënuloo toog as a kilifa ak sa gang nga def li nga xam ne yow loolu nga foog ne yow moo la satisfied without yow sa njaboot tey soo fi nekkutee sa njaboot yi dinañ sonna because loolu la so enlightened today the nation fi mu nekk nii ñun ñu ngi toog jaaxle because each and every one of Gambian xamuloo yow fi nga wéeru yaa ngi understand because the new constitution biñ def noonu leen balaa ma see duga ma laaj Madi as an activist dinaa la laaj loolu yaa ngi gis ne ñu ngi restrict seen comme pour nga express sa boppa jéena pour nga demonstrate pour because mu ngi mel ni ñu ngi jël yow li nga xam ne yow that is your human right because even yàlla daf ñu teg fii sax pour ñuy def lu ñu neex waaye in a way boo xam ne with respect so yow soo ma waree jël ne yow dang ma tëj man awma right restrict ma pour ne like rights of demonstration ba pare clair wuloo ko because mooy li ma wax dañ ñëw tegal ñu loo xam ne amul benn explanation amul benn kenn mënut a ñëw justify ne constitution yi dañ ko fa teg comme yeneen yi nga xam ne dañoo binda comme yi ñoo wax ñun xamuñ ko ne la ok sa right bi lii ak lii ak lii ak lii la waaye defuñ ko so as a activist ñu restrict la yow for your voice and under a human right bi nga am pour def ko lan nga feel bi nga riite constitution bi foofu
ak su ko mënee faram-fàcce lan mooy difference bi from 2020 draft bi gars yi defoon si affaire protest ak léegi what's the difference and ak Hadi lim la laaj noonu what do you feel about that like how do you see that not feel but how do you even see it
see that okay
yeah thank you yeah so the house 2020 draft recognize that the right to protest you know Nico the right to freedom of assembly and in that right it also expressed the right to picket picket more to go and stand in front of, let's say, any institution or something like that. But also, to do that and to submit a petition, as you picket or when you do picket, to any public authority and also private. And that is very important because you are now dealing with businesses and businesses can engage in illegal and unethical business practices. And it is not strange Ghana, why, you know, in advanced democracies, we see people go and, you know, demonstrate against businesses, come, you know, boycotts and other kind of things. So the 2020 protected those rights, which also was building on the 1997, you know, freedom of assembly, which was in section 25 of that law, I mean, the Constitution 1997. So in the 2024, what they did is to remove picketing, to remove petitioning, either to private bodies or to public bodies. And so they just took the basic one, that is the right to freedom to assembly peaceably and without the use of arms, which is also in the 2020 draft as well as the 1997 Constitution. But then you add for a subsection to say this right, however, can be restricted. And then you put conditions, and one of those would be national security, public order, and all of those things. Now, to be fair to them, freedom of assembly is not an absolute right. Human rights comes in two forms. There are absolute rights, and there are rights that can be limited or restricted. So freedom of assembly is one of those things. But it is very clear when you say limitation, it is not denial.
Right.
And so they are just making the point that subject to the laws of the Gambia. And of course, here the relevant law is the Public Order Act, and which is a very unconstitutional, undemocratic law, which the police, the IGP has been using to not restrict or limit, but to completely deny people to protest. And our protest, no protest without any reason, or reason so you don't know. So the way they craft it, and given our background or history, it is a huge cause concern. Because one of the things it tells me, they don't have any intention to change the Public Order Act. Now, the Public Order Act, which is a cake already, all right, it needs to change. But when it comes to freedom of assembly, the international standard and even the regional standard at African level is that the right to protest certainly cannot be denied. It can only be restricted. But very fundamental in the right to protest is it is not based on the authorization of the authorities, on the permission of the authorities. So that people don't have to request for a permit. People only notify. so that, when they notify the police is duty bound to now accept that notification and organize themselves to protect the protesters or those who are not protesting. Now, of course, in these circumstances, the police can feel they don't have enough resources, or there are other counter-protests all over taking place, other things, and they can carry everything all together. So they may say, okay, Jensen protest, can you transfer it to Wednesday, for example? So that's there may be a limitation, because you want it on Monday, they may say send it to Friday. Or they may say, instead of using Caraba Avenue, can you use, Madi Highway? All right. And so on. So they may put those limitations. Instead of, you want to protest for, 24 hours, can you make it 6 hours, for example? So those things can come, but based on the fact that the police face challenges, their ability to manage maybe that protest, maybe going to be too big, or too many other protests are taking place, or too many other things are taking place, and so on. So that is understandable. That can happen everywhere. And everywhere, police try to restrict protest, even in advanced society. Protest, like, for police in some excuse. We saw in UK how, the pro-Palestine protest, how every effort was made to clamp it down. And, the Black Lives Matter, Occupy, Wall Street before the Yellow Vest in France, and so on. So those things happen. But the point is, it is a matter of notification.
Right, the notification.
Because protests, I'm going to find solo Trump. The family in the Gambia, the unfortunate point when you don't understand the protest. Because the political awareness in the Gambia dafa low from. So people, they've come to agree with the state, because the state doesn't want protest at all. So they've come to agree with the state protest is violence, and protesters are violent. So it's very easy, common to hear the IGP say, you don't want
any violence or agitation.
Bad elements to come and take advantage of the protest. Nigeria, the current protest going on in Nigeria or even Kenya, you hear that, they don't want criminals to come and join the protest. But in most cases, in Nigeria, I'm in touch with activists in Nigeria just this morning. The governor of Kano and other people confirming that the bad governance and the bad governance protests in Nigeria these past weeks. It was the government that paid talks, paid criminals to infiltrate the protest, to do looting and create chaos.
So they
and
can.
Lulu happened a lot. We remember 2000 in this country. They may have put criminals in the students, April 10 and 11. But then what came out from Asadun Jai, who was the vice president, more student shooting came from the students. To show the nature of the state, because they want to see the right, so they don't create stories. So I remember Mahmoud Job, the late Mahmoud Job,
I remember him.
In his office, about this same narrative, Mahmoud, have you people done a study since independence to date to confirm that actually criminals infiltrate protests in this country? Okay, does it exist? But all the protests that happen in the Gambia and turn out violent, it is caused by the police.
Yep. And let me ask you, Madi, because we have a lot of questions that we want to ask you. So in the 2020 draft, was it a notification that they needed to give instead of a permission, and now they took that out and now they want a permission?
So the 2020 draft did not speak about notification or authorization.
Okay.
Normally it wouldn't.
Okay.
Normally the other law would come to specify that is the Public Order Act.
Okay.
So in our Public Order Act, what is established there is that protest is by authorization.
Okay.
It's by authorization.
Okay. Okay. Now let's go on to the next one. Bi moy ma jahal. Te foog naa Gambien yi jox lañu seen nopp yu baax bi moo war a jaaxal askan bi yëpp bi dinañ fa def waaf bi xadi mu ne ñu def waaf gëj ñu def waaf bi si
gëj nañu def waaf de juka
su ko defee ñu ne salaam baromos go ñoo fi ñëwati lii xew. Okay, now this is the question. the 2020 draft dañ waxoon ne dañ fa wax clearly ne government bi ak ministers yi president bi ak ministers yi they need pour them declare seen assets yëpp si anti-corruption commission bi before ñu jël office right waaye fi mu nekk nii 2024 draft bi gaa yi def Madi ñu ngi dégg ne gaa yi dañ wax ne war ngeenoo def war ngeen ñoo declare seen assets yi mooy président bi ak ministre bi suñuy dugga waaye suñuy génna duñ declare dara nii duñ pour dem declare si corruption commission bi xaw ma nag Madi ndax lii dégg la ndax du dégg ak naka nga ko gisee because man bii daf ma jaaxal de yow booy dugga suma kër war nga maa wax lan nga amee waaye booy génna suma kër nga ne doo ma wax lan nga amee sooy dugga si kër gi nga ne ma juka salaamaaleykum baag bi laa amee waaye booy génna yaa ngi enu saaku maalo yeeg bu fekkee Touré nga sant wala Camara yaa ngi enu saaku maalo yeeg yaa ngi enu pajaas yëpp di génna waaye waruma laa laaj dara naa la bàyyi rek nga génna boobu naka nga ko gisee Madi.
Well, as a declaration, is critical. Because at the end of the day, if you want to fight corruption,
yeah,
the incontrovertible rule is first and foremost asset declaration. If you enter in, you declare your assets. And for the president, for example, there is the IEC where you declare it first. As ministers, when you assume office, you declare your assets, to the ombudsman, now with the creation of the anti-corruption body, as proposed in the 2020 or the 2024, that's where you go. So that at the end of your office, you also go and declare, and it will show a difference in your acquisition of wealth. And so that means you would have to explain the difference, because they would know your income, source of income, and everything. And so if there is a difference that is, strange, you'd have to explain, and that can be a basis to establish whether you were corrupt or not corrupt.
Right.
It is illegal acquisition of wealth. Now, so to remove that for presidents or ministers at the end of their office is to encourage corruption. And Lolo, that is very serious.
Very.
Wow. Lolo is to encourage corruption, is to undermine accountability and transparency. And Lolo is a basis for having inefficient institutions.
And the audacity to even put it as that.
Yeah.
Put it in writing,
so,
even.
And that is why I said I consider the 2024 draft as an act of treason, because when you know the meaning of that, you are essentially saying people can come into the state, rob and loot, and then go away with people's properties, and then you legalize that. Now that is robbery. That is criminal. I mean, that is treason.
But Madi Mayoka, Luta, why did you think they've write it down on the constitution? Because the Kabojis have accountability. You understand? Even in Domita, we hold them accountability. So nakala a government talk. Yow nga xamne yañu wara jité, for example mo ñoo jité yow nga ñëw ne comme niko juko waxe suma duga sa kër na la wone la pajas point la am ak lal nga ne ma man soy génna man suma kër duma la laaj lan nga am dafa mean ne government bi xamna ne they are corrupt, because the Gambian people will hold them accountable when they leave in office. That they did it deliberately to cover themselves up for like buñ len yobu court or whatsoever, because comme ni juka wa man lolu mënuma ko digest right now. So pour red nga dem deep in that, because people don't even know ne ñu bari moy li ñoo wax comme ni ko defé Gambian bi do they read to understand, so mom dafa read to ñu debate wala whatsoever. Why B it is wow, this one hurts me more than anything. Like, why did they do that?
Yeah, I like that rhetorical question. Yeah, I mean, I think it is just clear in the way they edited the 2020 draft to produce the 2024. They did it with the clear intention. Intent is critical here. Intent. Wow. Because these people are not ignorant people. These are intellectuals. All right? Holding PhDs and advanced degrees. So they are not some illiterates. So uneducated.
Tapotele ngeen share nit ñi déggal lu Madi di wax balal ma Madi tapotele ngeen not tapote share leen ngeen comment ndax nit ñi déggal lu Madi di wax because Lee is insane. Madi continue, sorry.
Yeah. So you know, so it was not by chance or out of ignorance. Wow. You build this constitution in this way to provide all. That's why I said at the beginning they provided all necessary fences around them, in office and out of office, give themselves all kinds of benefits and powers. So raise themselves above the citizens of the Gambia. When that constitution said that sovereignty resides in the people of the Gambia, and power, legitimacy is from the people of the Gambia. So you, as a public servant, how therefore nga mën talk beyond ñi when alali ñi seen bakkan ñi seen tay ak ëllëg sa loxo la nekk. And you claim to be educated, you claim to be godly, you claim to be ku jóge suñu aada yi, you claim to be from a good family. So how can you arrogate yourself public property? Really? So, the only reason they did it is for nothing other than to serve themselves. And we have to say it as bluntly as it is. And it is purely Pursen Bopa without any regard whatsoever about their people, about the future of this country, even about Allah Hirasa.
They don't care.
They don't think about it. I mean, it's the most criminal thing anyone can do, honestly. So Lee, we should ask Barrow this question. Who wrote this? Who are the committee members who wrote this 2024 draft? When did you write this? Where are your notes? Give us your explanation. But they said they are going to give explanatory notes August 28. Why August 28? You are telling me that you wrote this at any time you wrote it, you gazetted it on the 14th of August, and now is the time you are going to sit down to compose your explanation for what you wrote. And you call yourself an elected and appointed public officer, having the integrity and the credibility and the dignity of a public officer. I mean,
but Madi, these people have Madi Yangi.
I'm in a different crowd, but I wish
Madi Yangi Wadara, Yangi Wad.
Yeah, Madi limu wax non dafa important Hadi.
Dafa important
waaw mu ne moom xamunda moom kese la ndax est-ce que ndax Gambien yi ñu ngi toog di xalaat affaire bi naka la waaye obviously ñu ngee doog a daaji wax bi fii and I'm hoping ne dinañ jëw wax bi TikTok dinañ ko yóbbu fu nekk especially bii soo ma laajee si constitution bi yu bari yu foog yu ñu isi si table bi tey waxtaane ko yëpp am na solo wax dëgg yàlla waaye bii audacity bi gars yi am Hadi.
Thank you.
Understand nga bi gars yi foog ne ñoom war nañoo mun a jàllale lii si Gambien bi si suñu xel yi askan bi ñu nangu ko ñii dañu yàpte ba pare jukkal li nga wax dafa Madi lu mu wax integrity dafa important. Are these people having integrity to face the Gambian people pour wax la ne la man dinaa tekki si sàcca sa xaalis bi lekka sampa si anything te yow amuloo benn right to hold me accountable. Wow. So dama laajte as from your point of view, are these people having integrity in our country for them to even have a position in any government? Ndax ñi am nañ any integrity Madi pour ñu def this yaa ngi doon break pour ñu def loi bii nii ñu indi ko kanami nit yi askan bi I mean I'm dumbfounded why aca Madi man bi daf ma jaaxal bi daf ma jaaxal de ah
well it's serious you know so I mean from beginning to end you can see that this draft constitution was then combined with an objective,
intention,
with an ulterior motive. With an ulterior motive. And which is very sad because Barrow, I'm not opportunity after having lost a huge opportunity in 2020. This country, since independence, we are run by a constitution, which set up a state, which gives them powers and functions to serve the public interest. They collect taxes from the people. They take into loans in our name and receive grants in our name. To the point that today our debt is said to be $110 billion. That's like any project in this country, and any sector in this country, from agriculture to sports, you'll see multiple projects, multiple funding streams, millions of dollars. And then you come down to the Gambia, the quality of life of our people. So that they realize that it is not the Amun resources. Because I tell people, even loans and grants, because who follow Jane Commission? Jane Commission, Jame Mungi Jena tent, Boneka State House right now, it's $8 million a tent. Bobla State House, believe. Mungi gel 5 million from GNPC to Tampa AU Villas. $5 million. Then I said, Jame Harris Mojel from Central Bank, from our public enterprises, GNPC, GAMCEL, Social Security, Ports, millions of dollars and euros. So that can be Nyakut Harris. The thing is that public officials know they talk specific person Harris, and then you have the audacity, give themselves salaries and allowances and benefits. They don't do the work for what they are paid. Because if that is the case, let them ban you right now. So we get across to Ambara. It's only one ferry for the past months. One ferry, Banjul Bara. And that ferry is for 24 hours. So even to run a simple ferry service between Banjul and Bara, Mununko. Well, Mununko, why you Banjul? The money is there. You go to Bara Terminal, you go to Banjul Terminal, you think this is for cattle. Not for human beings, but cattle. National electricity, law sohla purmuna provides 24/7 uninterrupted electricity supply. The longest distance is 400 kilometers. The widest distance is 80 kilometers. Amuñ ay mountains yoo xam ne nga ne mountain bi pour ñu jaala buum yi dafa difficult. Amuñ ay river yu rëy yoo xam ne ci cross dëkk bi yëpp du ñu am snow fi du ñu am ay hurricane ay kenn xamut. So the place is so simple. Why to create electricity supply rek ndox since independence mënuñ koo def te nekkul ne xaalis amut nekkul ne xam-xam bi amut. Public officers sit there, they don't do that. And they sit there, put in allowances. You go and check all their allowances. You will find outrageous allowances.
You lie.
You learn different to do. Why do you boy one of them? Don't put them. Then when you're still under audacity, put some constitution. Imagine 16 billion. Lulu Lala, you would have see education, see healthcare, see yon, see a lot of other things. Gambians have to go to Senegal to I had to go to Senegal for medical check. Thanks. Because Edward Francis teaching hospital, I would equipment. So know that Lulu, even look at the OIC, the millions of dollars, the billions, because billions of dollars. On top of that, so they get Dombu Rebuba. Nga am this history of an experience of Gambians. Nga have that opportunity to be president, like Barrow is. Nga am, do you remind us? But now a sense of responsibility. How to create a solid country that my people deserve.
Wallahi, Azim.
So let me go and create a constitution, it will outlive me. It is not for me to outlive the constitution, but let me create a constitution that will create a solid democratic society where freedom and justice and equality and peace and security will prevail, where the state will be true servant, serving the interests of the people, providing them quality services. Mandament fogne, Baro that is something law hamlet na halat. And no matter what it is, baranga talk yen cabinet di bida harma ini suma jinji gamersi you talk you halat together. You hulo you so what the bench agree to create Gambia one the yellow and man ma feel Baro ku gobe yala su bëggee réew mi su doomu réew baax la su fekkee ne moom xam na liggéeyam that is what you do waaye su ko Barrow defut sax xalaatul loolu somebody like Mohamed B. Jallow ku ma xam a long time in education as a planner nga dem ba retire Mohamed, what do you want in life? You've worked in this government, then you retire, you pick up from retirement, what more do you want? What more do you want? Like, what? You want to be a billionaire? To prove what? For what? So most of the Jala, mainly Mohamed B. Jallow as your vice president, you tell the president, look, this country is not your country alone.
Thank you.
The self-preservation.
Let us create a law. Why the thing is, what preservation is that?
Self-preservation.
Because at the end of the day, Mohamed B. Jallow, like Adam Barrow, like Adora Jallow, you are already getting salaries and benefits that you have created for yourself. Because some salaries and allowances, benefits, they did not go to the people to be a farano whether they want to go or you know talk send boba, you halat go, they've got to lower, you fail send boba and people accept it for you.
Yep.
And the Lulu not continue am Lulu. Wow. Look at me, Nunu. Yo, Mabu Tony, yo, Natanga, Neka Domi Romini, Nananga Yala. Don't come and say, look, Louis Jerin Suma Gini.
Well, like, as in.
Mohamed B. Jallow, Warnako Halat.
Dauda Jallow.
Dauda Jallow, just go on Halat. Because Haman Dauda Jallow, Bumnekon, an officer in the National Civic Education National Council for Civic Education. Tami Jabe. Definitely it's not the life. Juka, I tell you, you go to communities in this country that may feel guilty as a citizen. The way the life people live. Not so there was a bill Bahajul. I know some National Assembly members, National Assembly members, Manuel Yen. So they do a National Assembly members, National Assembly. See, the cough between Gambia High School gate and National Assembly fence. But I'm not getting the talk of no DJ, Kesse, DJ Yambe, DJ, you show you don't know as well. Money Halat, nothing in there, Halat, everything. Nothing in there, Halat, you know, Yota Yenega Assembly, Yota Yenida, this $1 million Prado vehicles. All these allowances. Why they have 5 years? Yendi ramba jigeni di dama kanyo every summer yendi ramba 5 years yen gen am sen moto yoni benege you need talk ci kon bobu nonu basti ko samuñ ko jël marako ndax da ngeen de xalaat lolu so ndax dara jaro daf de xalaat lolu
none of them
just de janga alright not to mention all the other ministers why ngeen talk fini as if this country I mean, pur Njiro la, then call Njiro. Like
Njiro. Ma like, speaking of Njiro, Benin question, Madi, Gambia is very sad. And I truly hope ne, keep ko sitan live bi, nga share ko sa page bi, ndax ñeneen mun ko gis, parce que wax bi, fok ñu wax askan bi lan mo nekk ci 2024 draft constitution bi gaay bu ga ICC. Because comme li ko fi Madi waxee, dafa mel ni ñoom dañ nekk di Njiro, te lépp lu ñoo def ci constitution bi, pour ñoom seen benefit la léegi speaking of njiro ñu wax si bii dafa am beneen boo xam ne tamit si draft constitution bi nii lañ ko isi ñu ne in case président bi su ko dara jotee wala mu resign ñu ne vice président bi wala obviously su nekkutee vice président dafa dem si speaker bi den mu dem si chief justice bi ñoom ñëpp mun nañoo continuer ba taami président bi mu jeex instead of guy ñu def election 3 months because back for the 2020 constitution bi de foofu dañ fa leeral ne su fekkee ne président si boppam nekkatut si réew mi wala nekkatut président wala dara jot na ko wala dafa resign then vice président bi la war a nekk then vice président bi su fa nekkutee then mu nekk speaker bi then if not mu nekk chief justice waaye ñi ma tuddan ni yëpp su fekkee du président bi ñoom ñëpp 3 months rek la gars yi war a serve within that 3 months then gars yi dañ war a def election pour ñu mun a isi ki nga xam ne moom la askan bi bugga ne moom moo la ñoo jiite mooy nekk seen président bi waaye unfortunately in this one mu ngee wax ne the gars yi dañ ko yokka ba nga xam ne taami président boobu jeex na président bu munti doon nag sa taam dafa war a jeex ba pare ñu doog a oote election kon mu ngi mel ni ñu ngi impose nit ñi si ki nga xam ne mooy nekk vice président wala chief justice wala speaker bi pour par force ñu nekk président yi Gambia nga ma bëgg nga leeralal ñu foofu nga faram-fàcceel ñu ko ak naka lan mooy sa gis-gis loolu
waaw jaaxal na ma lool when I saw that si 2024 draft because 2020 wax na ne when that vacancy happens vice president bi su fa nekkutee di vice the speaker mun na take over okay but there will be an election within 90 days
which is the 3 months okay
why tamit I think wow 90 days so that you am a new substantive president o mbite su fekkee ne do time bu vacancy bi am su fekkee ne the next election is like nine months away, up to 9 months.
Okay.
Then vice president be the continue 9 months be so meaning the election do up.
Okay.
And that makes sense because so president be hamga, for example, Moganu in election be is in December 2026. Moganu in March. Hamga.
This is very good.
Then from March to December. Vice President will not continue exactly because otherwise an election within 3 months and then within the next 6 months again another general election. So that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So the 2020 draft is very sensible in that regard. Wow. Why?
Yes.
Lunyam wax moy ne su lolu xewé vacancy bi vice president bi with speaker dafa continue the rest of the term. Now, I don't know, even Halem, Kujangut, could imagine that kind of an arrangement because Muna Neka president, you swear in this week, Nagaju this week.
Wow.
So, meaning, speaker with that, or the vice president, from that first week of that president, so meaning 4 years, 51 weeks, vice president became a president. No, when it comes to democratic standards, it's not democratic. Well, because what is democratic is the people who should lead public office should have a legitimacy. And yes, they have not resign, wow, or you impeach for. And those circumstances, to the minimum, they don't transfer power to a particular person. Why then, what would happen? It has to come back to the people to decide. So the vice president will not president for 4 years. That is not the people's choice because the people did not elect the vice president, particularly in Yunsun environment. We don't have a running mate ticket. Come America. Wow.
Yeah.
President elect.
Right.
You let them appoint the vice president. We don't elect the president and the vice president together. So if I get a situation like that, it might make sense because vice president is on the election ticket of the president. Well, I'm in that situation feeling. So why would you keep that vice president or that speaker Muneka president for that long period of time? So again, just showing that when you analyze it, what is the objective here? So young recent objective protect themselves so that if the president is out, let's say, Barrow is out now because he resigned. They are all connected to all the corruption and everything. They will have a stable system in place because it is one of their people who know talk now. So it will protect the boat. It will not rock the boat. You continue, and then of course you prepare yourself to make sure you take over eventually. So that's the only analysis I can give it. But otherwise, it makes no legal sense. It makes no democratic sense. It makes no Republican sense. So why again exposing the arrogance and the audacity that went into writing such a nonsensical document and want to impose it on the people of the Gambia. That is the full stop.
Reject the nonsensical document.
Thank you. Madi, the worst one, boo xam ne tey soo gisee ma toog fii am taranga dafa am ñu ma ko jox, and that is the education, the secondary school boo xam ne nit ki am na ñoo xam ne jànguñ, they are billionaires. We see the billionaires in the world, ñu bari xam nga demuñ further ak whatsoever. But in the level of Gambians, because si Europe bi fii am nga opportunity boo xam ne soo jàngee soo jàngutee sax dinañ la jox dara loo xam ne di nga am métier, xam nga li ma miin. So ma gis ne they remove the secondary school pour any Gambian boo xam ne man fa si loolu la magee ba ñëw fii si Europe bi, yaa ngi understand, ñu war a remove loolu. And balaa nga ma answer, man dama ko gisee ne Gambian people bi right now, the government of Barrow wax na leen moom mooy kan, because bugut educated people, suñ xale yi, suñ future leaders yi nga xam ne ëllëg ñooñu war a lead, buguñ pour ñu am chances to even read and write. yaa ngi understand. te loolu métti na ma, daf ma métti to an extent boo xam ne mënuma express suma boppa, because tey soo gisee man ma toog fii Juka toog fii yow Madi nga toog fii, yow am nga opportunity su dee sa yaay daf daan jaay gerte sa, but the government was providing a little bit of your secondary school or primary school. Even to Europe bi sa any education Scandinavia bi ma nekk fi is free. So demee sa di jël and other education pour further sa boppa pour nga am liggéey wala whatsoever, they even pay you to educate yourself. So dëkk boo xam ne man fala judo yeroo fa, ñu remove that naka la tudda waaw loolu foog naa ne, and I will say it loud and clear, Madi, foog naa ne Gambia
have access to the free education for
education,
high school, but not
secondary school.
Or,
Wow.
Yeah, primary, yeah.
Wow. So léegi foog
not
naa
high
ne
school, primary school, yeah. Okay.
Primary school. Foog naa ne lii nekkut pour ñun, the entire Gambia, and Juka du yow du Madi may wax lii, ñëpp a war a jóg, the entire nation ñoo war a jóg fi mu nekk nii laaj Barrow ak government am ban audacity lañ am pour ne ñun we don't want to better our life, ndax bëgguñ education, ndax bëgguñ ñu jànga, because yaay ak papa bu nekk boo gis tey bëgg nga sa doom jànga to go to an other level. So which means the government be dañu bëgg a delloowaat back to 0001 before 20 waaw 001 fa la ñoo dooree.
So Madi, law was si loolu Madi, because loolu comme li
law was si loolu waaw time a ngee dem
waaw
nga baalal ñu de ñu ngi la téye lan nga wax.
Well, I can agree more with you. So, in some sense, I don't want to give them that benefit of that. Maybe they fat. I mean, I cannot say that because they cannot fat.
You said they are very smart people. They're intellectuals that got together, right?
Okay. I will hate myself for saying that.
Yeah.
Because of my job. Because if you check the 1997 Constitution,
okay,
under Section 30 for the right to education,
okay,
it says basic education, that is grade 1 to 9, will be available to all, will be free and available to, will be compulsory and free and available to all.
Okay.
Then it went second, section 30A. Section 30B went to say that secondary education also will be generally made available, but progressively it will be introduced free of charge.
Okay.
And then section 30C went to talk about tertiary education.
Okay.
So Lola 1997 constitution. So the 2020 draft sort of said the same, just that they included basic and secondary education in one line.
Okay.
To say basic and secondary education. So probably that would be grade 1 to grade 12. Would be free and compulsory and available to all. Wow. And then they went next talk about tertiary education, vocational training and those kind of things. So when they took the 2020 draft, in that first line, they deleted secondary education. And in the rest of the subsections, they did not mention any secondary education. So I start to wonder, okay, but why would you want to make tertiary education? Because actually they said, to be fair to them, said tertiary education as well as vocational education is, would be made available, but progressively will be made free of charge, like free. So meaning the intention is eventually to make tertiary education free.
Okay.
But the issue is, how can you just jump and make tertiary education free?
And you leave out.
But then you are not making secondary education free, but you make primary education free. So that gap, why do you leave that part there? And that is a serious part. Because that's the connection, that's the chain work. So why would you leave secondary education out? You want to make primary education free immediately, and then you make tertiary education eventually free, because progressively, because when it comes to economic and social rights, that's what is called progressive realization. Because it is true that certain economic rights, country like the Gambia, don't joke, okay, education or primary education, tertiary education, free immediately.
Right.
Because no, that's what required from the school.
Right.
Create teachers, you get an chalk, and the resources necessary. You have to Why with planning you can make them available, on and on and on until after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you realize that now it is all free. So, but why would you make primary education free now? You jump secondary education, no mention of secondary education, and then you jump to tertiary education and said you want to also make that eventually free. What is the rationale?
Tagal ñu Dawda Jallow ak other 19 people. Ñom dégg na ñom 19 lan. Dawda and 18 people. Ñu nga ñu ñoy 100 people.
No. Wa ñun aga nañu 100.
Dawda with the 18 people. Ñu gaay ñoo and
wala leen ñu ñëw ci 100 people.
Wow, because lolu mégu sense comme li Madi wax Hadi. Lolu mégu ben sense. Mégu ben sense. Su fekkone sax dañu jox secondary ba pare ñu ne comme li mu wax anything else loo xam ne mën nañ ko def progressively slowly you build into it comme ni waaye yow dafa mel ni kon yow 1997 constitution li ñu waxoon si education moo gën a baax li ñi di wax si education dafa
right now
in a way because dañ ñu si génneel so ñu dem si next one bi because xam ne
1997 constitution is better.
It's better, huh? That's insane. Later dinaa la laaj am su fekkee ne am na yeneen yoo xam ne moo fa nekk yu ñu laalul yoo ñu bëgg a isil from the 1997 constitution ba 2020 bi draft bi ba 2024 léegi Hadi man dama bëgg a laajte bii nii bii tamit bu 2020 bi dañ ne abuse of power mun naa lead to impeachment right back in 2020 seen draft bi waaye léegi dañ ne bu abuse of power bi dañ si yokka dañ ne gross abuse of power pour ne it's actually more they've kind of confined it more right more restricted in a way, confined it more. Put in a gross abuse because obviously it's only abuse of power. Lolo mo gonna open. I saw a gross abuse of power. So the family were excessive, something extreme, right? Before you impeach la in this one. Now that's one thing, and then second thing, bitamid linga hamne mo neka liga nini deka di wane mo neka si problem constitution bi moy. Before Madi, then you honne in the parliamentarian they only needed half of them who you vote. When you impeach, while legi they actually require 2/3 over the 2/3 pour guy ñu mëna rule ne dañu war a impeach the president. So ñaari yooyu laa bëgg a tënk nga explainal ñu lan nga si gis ak tamit naka la fa taajoo fekkee ne loolu dëgg la nga du dëgg pour nga leeralal ñu ko.
Landy was a bit cut in, so
okay.
You may have to repeat it.
No problem.
Yes.
So in the 2020 constitution, the draft, supposedly they did say abuse of power could lead to impeachment, right? But now they've edited to gross abuse of power. So the key word there is gross abuse of power, which is excessive abuse of power, right? So it's more confined, right? So loolu laay laajte ndax loolu am na ndax ñooñu def nañ loolu noonu si constitution bi compared to 2020 bi nga xam ne moom lañ defoon ak tamit dégg nañ tamit ne before in 2020 draft biñ isi dañ ne 50%, half of the parliamentarians suñ ñëwee ñu ne dañ war a impeach Barrow kon dañ ko war a impeach waaye léegi dafa mel ni dañ ne 2/3 ñoo war a nangu ne dañ war a impeach Barrow pour ñu nangu na war koo impeach if not duñ ko mën a impeach su fekkee ne half bi rek la Barrow or any other president for that matter. Let me just be more clear.
Yeah. Well. So 2020 draft. For grounds for removal of a president, that is impeachment. One of the offenses would be abuse of power.
Okay.
Or abuse of office. Now, in 2024, what they did is to add gross abuse. Now, Lulu, I've not checked in the interpretation what defines gross.
Yeah, it's subjective, right?
That's what the difference would be. So, as if that is a mild or moderate and extreme and gross abuse of office. Wow. So, what is that to check? But I've not seen any explanation there, actually, what is gross abuse and what is abuse.
Right.
Gross. So, you guys need to invite out here. What that
so, Hadi, Sumana Pese. Madi, we like to joke here a little bit to keep things not so tense, right? So, Suma Pese, Hadi, Lolo is abuse. Why, legi Sumana Njate, ma pesla, ma kikla, bobu mo grossly. Why Sumana Pese, like, bobu? Nagora, Hadi.
So, because, we have seen impeachment proceedings in other countries.
Well,
and they know abuse of office, and they also say high crimes, and so on. But bribery, interestingly, the U.S. Congress, House of Representatives, released the impeachment report of Joe Biden, because they were investigating him, that he was using his position as vice president at the time, and even as president, to influence his son's business interests. And then they have a report. I wish governments go and read, because it's very pertinent or relevant to the situation we're having here, particularly the last issue.
So interesting.
So abuse of office, for me, that suffices. The idea of gross abuse, I don't know what that means. Now, but what they did also, the 2020 draft said, because normally when there is an allegation of abuse of office, the National Assembly, anyone who moves that motion that president should be removed for just the abuse of office, there has to be a resolution in the parliament to agree whether that impeachment proceeding should start.
Right.
And so the first point is, first Parliament vote to agree. And if they agree, then the impeachment process also begins. And there's another threshold around that as well. So the first point, Parliament agree. 2020 says, if half of the members agree, then there should be impeachment procedures should open. If they don't agree, then it should collapse there. Now, what they did is to increase that to 2/3. So what that means is you are providing more protection for the president. Because in the 2/3, maybe so that community amrek then the far collapse. The force
for the knowledge and after.
Yeah. So ñom luñ def rek moy né raise the bar so that effectively you almost make it impossible
to impeach.
When you impeach president. And Lolo, what that means is now you are protecting abuse of office. You are condoning, abuse of office or the perpetrators of abuse of office, the president in this case. But also making it also cumbersome because the issue may come, when it comes to voting. Is this abuse of office gross or not gross?
Right.
Because it is not just abuse of office. They have abuse gross under 2 or 3.
So,
I think
so it makes it more complicated and subjective, right? Okay.
Absolutely. So because so they have gross abuse of office. They have gross violation of the Constitution, of any provision of the Constitution, and gross misconduct. So these three, then add for then add for I hope you are getting me.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So so then add for on 3 subsections, the grounds for impeachment, they added gross in front. So gross abuse of office, gross misconduct, and gross violation of any provision of the Constitution. So Lolo creates a whole debate.
So regular abuse is not good. It's okay. You can pass.
Right.
Wow.
So you will not create a whole confusion now. No, but this is not gross. In the parliament, you will see parliament. No, this is gross. No, this is not gross. So the whole thing now gets diluted between gross and not gross. So I think it's a tactic. It's a tactic to only to undermine accountability. All right, to protect the president and to encourage misconduct, violation of the Constitution, and abuse of office. For me, that is how I see the way they crafted it. They crafted it very well to protect. Yeah. So they have an ulterior motive. They know very well what is happening in the ground, in the parliament, politically, within the civil society, within the whole world. So how do we build fences? You don't let them. Then talk, nakalanyo sampa ay fence, ay mir, pour artu bop. Against citizens, against the, what is
against the people feeding them.
Yeah. No morals there. No morals there. The fact that they can sit down, like you said, 19 people, you talk, you craftily, pour ñom lu leena protect ak ñom lu seen lu leena yobu ci kanam ñom kesse not to askande. Not askan bi. Now, speaking of that, Hadi, so am a question benen. Before my like a question.
Okay. After that
and speaking of that, because tamit one in the 2020 constitution draft bi, consumer protection move forward. While legi guy then delete consumer protection. Then go for gain. So again, consumer protection normally also is going to be between the consumers and let's say large big companies. Obviously, we're not thinking like small mama, quick talk the Jaget staff and stuff, right? But we are talking about the big corporations or the big companies here for Neka, right? So how do you see that? And is that actually true? Nedenko again, is it constitutionally?
Yeah. So I'm very mad. Very furious, negating the consumer protection because Lolo basically is talking about me, my life, my health, my well-being, my value for money, so you don't
quality of
wow, because the products I buy, so it means businesses can give me expired products. They can charge me any price. They can give me low standard, poor standard products and services. And the beauty of the 2020 draft, for the first time, it has recognized a whole set of lu ñoo wax economic and social rights and cultural rights. Xam nga economic rights that enable me pour ma am a source of living, ma am a way to survive. Xam nga ma am means of survival and stuff like that. And social rights, xam nga rights yoo xam ne would make me xam nga ma mun a am a source of a means to live a decent life, to live
access to
present and future security and stuff like that. So social protection, right to development, right to housing,
right,
right to health. These are things you have been taking one in the 1997 Constitution. So it was good. You am in the 2020. Now you know 2024, and then you have the audacity to remove consumer protection. So what are you telling citizens? Send welfare, send backend, send welfare, because consumer protection cuts across all rights.
Right.
Because it cuts across all rights. It's about I don't get poisoned. I don't get polluted by some business operation also. I don't. A phone. It is a real phone and not a fake phone.
It is
a real garab, not a fake garab. Wow. So internet. $100. The value of $100 and not $75 or $25. And you know how zero fee. And I a credit. And I a internet. Mudem. Don't have the So that protection. Just like that. And it is very strange because Dauda, as a lawyer,
and for who? Who are they removing it for?
A consumer protection. Well, I'm a Consumer Protection Act. There is a subsidiary law for consumer protection. So, and that law is supposed to be based on the Constitution. So, how can you have that law and its foundation in the Constitution is not there? So that also is another contradiction. That is the Constitution. But then why did they do this? Because you want to limit human rights. You want to limit
Gambia.
You don't want value for money in this country. You don't want businesses to be responsible.
And which business, Madi, which businesses are they trying to protect? Like, who are they trying to protect?
Their own business, Joka. Their own businesses.
I mean, like...
So their own businesses, businesses of their friends, their cronies, foreign businesses, who may be giving them bribes and stuff like that. So, which responsible citizen, do man is a president or minister, but which responsible citizen, go, but they can guide them. Citizen, no, consumers, protect.
That's like the number one thing in business in America, in the West.
Yeah. Which country can you go to? Young citizens want to protect against unfair business practices, unethical business practices, from expired goods, from poisoning, from pollution, from I'm protection. But people in you take in public office. You think they are you
No.
Madi not all for me. The first step Madi. Madi,
ñu ngi naan Madi moom angale rek la dee laaka majuka ñu ne ko angale rek la laaka we just soose wala joola moo tax nag ma noppi and we are so glad ne ñëw nga speak wolof waaw because ñu ngi ko ne he Madi moom su ñëwee angale la speak
but thank you nga ñi ñu ngi ànd seen sago xam nga yéena yi wax dëgg yàlla yonent bi danga laaj borom ndax kii sago mu fa xam nga sago mooy nit sago mooy everything. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. So for you to have the audacity, nga change constitution bi, si askan bi, nga def you lesson and then imagine, bin wane so duge nga wane sa assets, so again bul wane sa assets. The audacity and consumer protection waruñ ko fa am. The audacity, more like comme lim wax ni, ndax sago mu fa ndax ñom 19 people yem ndax sen sago mu fa. I mean 19 people.
No. Lifin bila kush bi more pollute Gambia yep.
How do you behave? We have Uncle Madi here.
Okay, Uncle Madi, bala but you fuck you just make jokes. Sorry, bala no.
Look at me, Gambia, I'm here stress.
I think for election, I mean constitution, na game improve small one because then you want to get
wow.
You have to
Askan be wow. Wow.
Wow. You muna understand because it's a matter of self-respect. It's a matter of dignity. So that nga nekk si réew. Suñu doomi réew. You know, lan mooy doomi réew. Xam nga waxtaan yu foog ñu am ko. Luy doomi réew.
Wow.
Xam nga lu tekki doomi réew. So that pour man doomi réew da nga am ay warugal lu ma wax and ay duties ay duties de pare nga am benefits so nekkee doomi réew da nga war a am benefits waaw
da nga am warugal waaye tam am nga war nga see am loo si jëriñ sa njëriñ waaw
da nga si war a am njëriñ soo nekkee Gambien foog nga am njëriñ loolu dafa war a njëriñ waaw because yaa ngi fay tax si sa tur ñu ngi jël bor si sa tur ñu ngi am grant mën nañoo ne sarax xam nga te loolu luy dem si président bi si government bi mu ngi dem si moom because of yow yéen mi nekk doomi réew so su fekkee ne loolu la den ñun doomi réew dañu war a xam ñun lan leen suñ
sa yelleef
suñ yelleef waaw dañ ko war a xam su da kenn duñu yàpp
dëgg
kenn duñu yàpp waaw kenn duñu téye di ñu mbaameel because dëkk bi fii am nañ ay mbaam ay nag duñu wax ñu doomi réew
no I love Madi juga Madi dégg na olof de sariya lañ fee isi
waaw am nañ ay nag am nañ ay xar waaye lu lañ différencier ak nit ñi du leen wax doomi réew wax dëgg yàlla yonenti mosu ñu wax doomi réew wax dëgg
because amuñ right joxuñ leen right amuñ duties ñu diggee leen rek ñu ree leen lekka leen
that's it
duñu mën a lekka ci réew mi mel ni ay mbaam ay nag o ñu allow
sariyan comme bit sariyan Madi
foog ñu xam suñ boppa te loolu problème yi Gambie foog ñu xam suñ bopp kenn war a ñoo yàpp
no dañ war a dog paat bi nag partage ko nag di ko report
suma yaay yaa mami laa ko yóbbu suma yaay Madi xam
nga dog ko la yóbbu ko de
yaa mami bii dina ko ne dina ko ne nga nit ki da ngay nite waaye boo demee ba nga xam ne dina jaxase ak mala yi xale yi yow nekkatuloo nit
no bii dañ ko dog no thank you Uncle Madi
I don't know kaya ñoo jeex waaye dama bëgg a
ñu ngi jeexal si waaw
si draft bi li ñu war a bàyyi xel mooy si section bu ñu wax transitional provisions transitional or
for the different request
waaw and then foofu noonu ñu fa am section 5 bu wax term of the president so ko bindee dañ ne the term of the president xam nga like on the effective date of this constitution, like constitution, you know, the day the constitution gets approved, come let's say a referendum.
Okay.
That day or that period is the effective day. The constitution being in force. And so the president Buneka in power at that time, more the first president for the Third Republic.
Wow.
Wow. So we managed to draft the referendum 2025 you pass.
Wow.
So the effective date would be 2025 whichever date or month it is. But then at that the fourth president of the Third Republic. The regular about the term of president. Now, the difference between 2024 and the 2020 constitution, when the 2020 constitution, definitely constitution, the term of the president, in 2017. The time of the president in 2017.
The 2020
so,
draft.
2024, when the time of the president is going to start?
Okay. So, Madi, just for clarity, you are saying 2020 draft be dafane sunko pass on 2017 la constitution be Third Republic don't know in effect. Is that what you said, Madi?
No. 2020 draft.
Wow.
Yeah. 2020 draft. The presidential term limit.
Wow.
In 2017.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to in the union retroactive.
Wow.
Which was a business argument. Why 2020 draft was very clear. When is it the first the presidential term limit? When will it start?
2017.
So, 2020 draft, you need indicate it starts in 2017. Why in 2024, you know, wahun kanya term will start. Then so constitution in force.
Wow.
That will be the beginning of the Third Republic. And President Buneka in power at Buneka fourth president of the Third Republic.
Wow, okay.
Constitution. Lu am solo moy 2024 draft come like the 2020 draft. One ne two-term presidency presidential term dañoo am. So legi dañoo wax kañ na that presidential term limit kañ na mo do. So 2024.
So President mun na fa tok 30 years.
Meaningless nonsense provision bo xamne amul ben value whatsoever. Okay? Why it's a very dangerous provision. It's a very dangerous provision. Because provision bobu su legi ñu am new constitution since 2025.
Wow.
The issue would be would Barrow fourth term be
2020
in that 2025, that is 2021 by 2026. Or that term will not count, so the counting will start in 2026, so Munna Tahawat in 2031.
Yep, in another 10 years, Munna Fanek.
Madness to another level. So madness to another level.
So I'm an experience in West Africa. Apply what? Apply what? 2012.
Okay.
No, 2000. 2000. Apply what? New elected for 2007. 2008, we in the referendum. You change constitution, we change, the term limit. I mean, the tenure. I'm 7 years, I want to go 5 years. Bunjari Lolo, he 2012, it should have been his second term. Apply what money? No. Fourth time be counted. Constitution be Bunjari referendum, Bunjari into effect was in 2008. So mom term be my second term be first term be my 2007 to 2012. So meaning the Horata 2012 meaning 3 times late.
Yeah. Is it not what Maki did? Maki did for Lolo.
Lola def mota Senegal joke.
Maki did.
Then you done next to Maki after Senegal in 2012, I can tell you, Jugaman 2012, it was 2011 December and 2012 January when the Senegalese Constitutional Court you approved a ward candidacy for third term, Munataha 2012. I was in Dakar as part of a civil society caravan in West Africa.
Okay.
Mashallah. you know, and the political new protest at Lebanese in the middle of the camp.
Listen.
Against us. I was there. So, Madi then Madi continued, then May 2015, new electoral 2016, more in a consent referendum again to change something in the constitution. When it changed, 2019, moving through one of them by 2024, no, 2024, Munna Tahawad, because consent referendum in 2016, don't count first time in 2012 to 2019. So, go count. New constitution will be effective in 2019. So, go count. So, we saw the same show in Senegal. That's your partner. Maki did not have to
run. Right.
Well, why don't you go further? You got them Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara. Ouattara 2010 was elected. Mustaf 2 times 2020. You never 2020 because we just want consent referendum around 2019. You know, when I first time look at the time the consent came into effect, government was started counting. So since I then I'm not one more time. Over time, let's show you married there in Abidjan.
They stand.
Then you them Guinea-Conakry. Guinea-Conakry. You remember Alpha Conde. The same thing that you change constitution. Mommy, the first time Bowujala, second time you change constitution. Mom, that second time more than a first time for Mutawad a third time in 2020. 2020. Therefore, one selling Jalo, you know, in Guinea, the opposition leader.
Right.
Moving in 2020, and then in September 2021, military coup d'etat.
Yeah, man for one.
So,
man wants to take a bit.
So, we mainly, for some problem, Bob and you
the lie will lie.
Then you 2031. Barone da fata how. 2026. You know, in 2021, the Barone da fata how because mom tamam muidor, you know, after 2026. Because the Barone da for 2025.
Wow.
So first time to count. Already. It's been a season. It's been a information.
So that's nyari time already.
Well, legi, Madi, so lolota.
2017 to 2021, you know, Lolo County, you know, Lolo first time Baro, 2017.
Because Lola la bugona lie, because yanko jis no, you go be the sen wally, you go be the sen wally.
Wow,
even even before a draft constitution being new, they were writing that ne Baro amna right. Pour neka president ben 36 or something 31 or 36. So
Actamin mu contest in 2026.
Wow. So the new draft constitution be ñom tok nañ meeting ko why am na ñuy génna di ko wax pour hejna ciow am but they knew that this was coming out.
Imagine they've already done 10. In 2026, he would have already had done 10 years, right?
10 years.
Right? And then now he wants to do another 10 years. That's 20 years.
2026.
Right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So you it means we have a future political impasse waiting for us in future.
Yes. But Madi, dama la buga laaj bi ni rek quickly. Ak ñu buga laajte Madi question yep, ak ñu buga contribute something before mo dem because jël nañ precious time am bi wax dëgg yàlla yàgg na fi ak ñun. Mun ngeen a request ngeen ek foo de gisoon naa la maam li sa yow tamit mun ngaa ek I guess waaye ñu may foo de ba pare su fekkee
mun naa ek juka su dee xëj na xëjuñ man hanga rek ñun ñooy host I can get down ba pare nga jëlaat ñaar man ma ek ku wàcca rek
no problem
ba pare pour rek xëj na bala internet am bi di dem because gaa yeng laa seetaan mun nañoo dog sa internet bi ak sa live bi anyway, I make jokes because man kanyaleg la kiñ ma tuddee kanyaleg la I always wanna laugh and make joke. On a serious note, dama la bëgg wax ne la thank you. pour nga ñëw nga clarify some of the things yi nga xam ne mu ngi nekkoon si suñ boppay te we don't understand it deeply mooy li ñoo wax rek dañ dee read ñun tam to understand it a little bit waaye comme li Juka wax suñ ne paragraphe 10 section 1 and 8 xamuñ ko so yéen mi ngeen xam ne yow yaa coach Samba Jaw kooku moom bu kenn dibéeta moom section na section xama noppi walaay uncle waxuma dara so it is a pleasure having you on this platform pour wax la ne la jërëjëf because we can reach out to other people yoo xam ne mun nañoo wax ne Barrow must go page la they will not come up waaye maa ngi laa wax ne la thank you so much li nga ñëw fii pour clarify some of the things yi nga xam ne tey ku tëddoon di xalaat ndax lii mun naa koo digest read na ko te understand ko def nga ko in a way boo xam ne lot of people will understand so maa ngi laa ne la thank you so much jël nañ sa time may leen ko xaat si thank you so much yaa ngi ñëw seetuloo ne ñun ndaw lañ and the respect for li wane na rek respect bi nga am for humanity respect bi nga am pour sa dëkka respect bi nga xam ne yalee fi doomu Gambia yi li nga xam ne ñoo ko yelloo dama la dee follow friends lañ on Facebook and I always read I love reading your posts wax dëgga neex yàlla mu metti mu ne I really léegi dama read ba suma xol bi seeda waaye léegi ma read ma ne ay waay oncle tamit
kon fàtte naa first paragraph bi lu mu waxoon sa first paragraph maa ngi si last one bi waaye kii mu ngi jéem a dugg xadi yow tëjaguñ su ñoo tëj di nga éegaat comme li nga wax rek ñu may gaay yi
waaw ma wàcca ngeen am question ngeen laaj ko ma maye space I will come back because moo gën a fiya
waaw maa ngi dugal kii ami wante nangu ta dugal so mu ne 3 people bi doy na so mun ngeen a def request léegi kii Madi soo ko munee tënk si Mandinka tamit wax bi xam naa ne nag liñ laal bari na waaye yi nga xam ne moo la si gën a itteel soo ko munee tënk pour ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi dugga si I hope ne su ko defee ñu mun a understand li nekk di xew ba pare dinañ dem TikTok tamit suñu demee TikTok lii yëpp dinañ ko fa farafànce incha allah after lii dinañ fa am after show den dinañ gën a dugga tamit si Mandinka bi I hope ne maam lii sax mu ngi doon déglu ak Xadi gars yi dinañu dimbale si Mandinka bi pour ñu gën a farafànce wax bi ok
Juka dafa mel ni gars yi mënuñoo duga so ñi képp xaama explain koo xam ne da nga bëgg a duga bul duggee si share link bi you go direct to the Barrow must go nga duga foofu soo fa duggee nga send request su ko defee ñu lifin la waaye su dee da nga duggee through a link wala nit charge naka la tudda waaw du la mun a lifin yow Teflon gis naa la Teflon bàyyi ma
ami waaw Teflon dina ñëw TikTok xam nga mooy loolu yéen a ñu moom temps yi ñun Facebook dañ tongoo gaay amuñ koo gaay dañ lañ defar show bi nii rek waaye amuñ koo gaay ñu ngi ñëw TikTok kon Hadi ma égal ami yow nga wàcca
man ma wàcca waaw ñu ñëw ngeen mun ngeen a laaj any question li mun a answer dina ko answer about the constitution yéen ni ngeen ko understand just like me and Juka dina leen answer so xama wàcca ndax keneen mun a egg
ok Hadi den su ñoo tëj nga égaat waaw ñu jox gars yi benn a good less than 15 minutes rek because Uncle Madi wax dëgg yàlla sonna na mu egg ok so Fodé mu ngi nii xaaral ma seen naa mun a dugal ami Fodé nuyu naa la bismillah na nga def
moom fi rek nakam am bi jaak gis naa tay da nga soose
yow yaa ma war a jàngal soose yow ak tukulóor waaye nangu leen te gis dégg nga li Madi wax mu ne dañ war a understand local language pour ñu mën a communiquer man su ma déggoon soose damaa xar réew mi ñaar yàlla man mer naa su ma déggul soose
Madi a baraka baake
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, the constitution of Kwoni is very, very important because I see to read that these people tampered with the verdict of the people. You know, for the fact that, you know, this constitution is the verdict of the people of the Gambia, both from the diaspora and people within. For them to go and butcher it as they deem fit is criminal. You know, it's criminal.
Yeah.
It did not even go to the National Assembly yet. They just went and do what they like. It's not right. This is very, very sad. And I hope Gambian people knows what these people are planning to do. Barrow's occupation is about the term limit. He wants to stay in power for about 20 years. This is his plan.
Yeah.
And Gambian people are not seeing it. Because as you stated earlier, his term limit start from 2017. That was the one in the draft. How can he go and change it?
Yeah.
You know, this is his main preoccupation. This is what he wants to do. And Gambians, this is why, you know, we need to even go into our local dialects and tell people, you know, what is happening. This is very, very important. They took out the myths of the Constitution. Very important sectors of the Constitution was removed. No accountability, section that enhance accountability, all that were removed. You know, this is crazy. Madi, you know, Gambian, I think, you know, we need to go and explain to them, Mumbe Keri, na banko bitaka nyami. No thing people don't know. This man is grooming to be a kind of a dictator.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if he's going to be there for 20 years, 40.
Of course. Yeah. And there'll be
what's the difference between him and Jammeh?
You know? Because Gambia no le muna korosi la problem ole ni batata ike fonyole. People are not committed. Most of us are not committed like you or Juka. Once people get tired, they say, okay, fine. You know, they just give up. But no, we have to put these people into account. Otherwise, you know, they will do whatever they like.
Thank you, Fode. We'll be going to TikTok later. And let me see if Madi has something to say on that before you allow.
So I have a question for Madi. Okay. What do you think will be the way forward now?
Right. I was going to ask that too. Okay, go ahead. Take the question. Yeah. Yeah. What's next for us? What can we do, Madi? What can we do right now? Madi, you're breaking. Can you hear us? So he's asking, in essence, we know all of these things have changed. Like they want to change all these things, and it's not good for Gambia. So what's next for us? Yeah. So basically, what he's saying is, right? This is what they are trying to do, and it's wrong. We all know, right? It's based on all the analysis you gave us, right? So what is next for us as Gambians? What can we do about this? Because this is serious.
Yeah. So for me, I reject the process they have taken.
Okay.
Because me as a Gambian, as a citizen, it is not the parliament or the cabinet who should write a constitution for me. So when I reject what they are doing, so left to me, this gazetting has to stop. All right. It has to stop so that the president take a proper route to write a constitution. Now, the CRC process gave us the 2020 draft. I want that draft new constitute a national assembly. Let me say this, a constituent assembly. All right, a people's forum. Let's say.
Okay.
Right, or whatever name you call it. But you in a cross section of Gambians.
Okay.
100 people, 200 people. You know, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You talk because we know that. See, 2020, there were a lot of back and forth about the constitution. Some are looking at it from a religious point of view, some from a cultural point of view, some say, you know, all sorts of things. So there was a lot of contention about it. So let us bring all representatives of the various bodies or cross-section of Gambian society. You talk, look at that draft, and with the experts like the CRC committee,
right?
With the experts, you trash out all the contentious issues, because some of the contentious issues are not contentious at all. Misunderstanding, ignorance, and some it's just bigotry, right? It's just, you know, people just want to, because I've seen the argument from the Muslim groups, I've seen the argument from the Christian groups, and to me they are baseless. I mean, somebody needs to sit with them to realize that what they are expressing about secularity, about, you know, other things is baseless. You know, so that is why we need this people's forum, so that you, whatever amount of time they take, that is it. But you empower them with enough resources. You want to talk, as citizens of this country, for the interest of this country, you came to somewhere, look at the 2020 draft, then satisfy. So satisfy, the whole country stand behind them. That draft legi, President Yobuko, you IEC, you referendum government, the whole government them decides.
Yeah.
But do you,
that is the legitimate process.
Yeah.
Right. But do you think, Ne, there's time to do that with the short period before 2026 election? It's only 2 years and few months left. And then also, lastly, with that question, what is the majority of Gambians? Let's say the human rights, what is it called again? Commission in Gambia, right? The organization and all those bodies. Right. What are they doing? Are they going to do something about this, or everybody has been silent and just watching how everything unfolds? Or what are people going to do? It's ground be.
No, yeah. So
for the mangla watch
yeah, those bodies don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Maybe to monitor it. Yeah, maybe new monitor it, make sure there is participation, there is inclusion.
Okay.
Because constitution building is a political process first and foremost. Because it is about a people need to send real, nakala send life today and tomorrow, how they want to govern themselves. And these people, they are Muslims and Christians, Fulas and Jolas and Tiang and Badibu and men and women,
farmers,
and
teachers,
with disabilities and farmers, teachers. So then we create a state, and laws govern. So it is the people who should do this. The role of the president and the National Assembly, since we have them, is to facilitate that process in the most legitimate manner possible. And I'm saying, to me, what is legitimate is the presidency Sola win this 2024 draft. We need our 2020 draft.
Right, the original one.
You go back to the people. The original one. You go back to the people. See, Anna Bohamne, then am the opportunity to participate. You document. Now we can sit here and say, but I'm in time. No, I'm in time.
Okay.
So we have. It's unfortunate. 8 years have been wasted.
Right.
And Barrow should be held accountable for that.
Right.
Already. But I'm in time because it is better, you create a proper constitution than for the sake of a constitution. You never am constitution for Hamne. At the end of the day, then you make a show, rectify, on and on and on. You don't need that.
Okay.
When you construct a proper Gambia, all right? Because when you said this is 1965, there can be 1981 you am insurrection, 1994 you am coup d'etat, 2016 you am a political impasse. So every now and again there am a political crisis. So it raises the question. Really, what is fundamentally wrong with our people, with our country, with our government? The problem is, when in 1965, we have not yet put this country on a strong foundation, on a proper just foundation. And now is the opportunity for you to construct a proper So let us take our time to do that. It is unfortunate. Party in 2016 and manifesto, and that failed. But now we cannot just rush because either Barrow or
because it's the laws of the land. It needs to be done properly.
Today and tomorrow. Because this country is not going to live end in 2030 or 2050. This country is just 59, 60 years old.
Wallahi.
We have, some countries are 200 years old. Some countries are more than that. So relatively, we are still young. So we may have made a lot of mistakes since independence to date. Now is the opportunity for you to construct a solid country by making sure you construct a constitution.
This thing, Boba.
Involved, and so that at the end of the day, you have this constitution is durable, is long-lasting, is fit for purpose. Man, that's how I see it.
Right.
So man left to be alone. Man reject this process that is going on.
Okay, so we should all reject it. Basically, we should all reject the process that's going on. Hopefully, ñun ñëpp askan bi ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi toog fii di seetaan ak ñu ko seetaan ñi ku nekk bind sa Facebook bi, because maybe that's the first form of protest. Ku nekk bind sa Facebook ne you reject this pour gars yi ñu dégg ñu international bi gis ñu ñoom tam ñu gis ñu ne ñun ñu ngee ñaxtu ne lii dañ ko war a ci waaye balaa sister Ami di ñëw Madi quickly I don't know foofu di nga ma mën a tinkal answer boobu quickly. So who is going to start this process? Because xam naa ne ñoom baro duñu ko defal because ñoom def nañ liñ bugg a def ñoom pour ñoom. So askan bi ñun kan moo ñoo defal lii? Is it going to be the opposition? Is it going to be the activists that are on the ground? Who is going to do this? Pour ñu or are we going to have to communicate with the international pour gars yi ñu influence ñoom baro pour ñu def the process the right way? Sorry, bro.
Okay, go ahead.
No. If you can answer this quickly, because man, I really want us to find like what's next for us. Then after Sister Binyo Aki, then you know Baila, because I know you have something you have to go. Okay.
So I go ahead. That's what he said.
Yeah. So Madi, lima like the moy. So we can do a campaign on Facebook and all that stuff. Twitter, new watching outrage. Now we reject this. But on the ground, put your baro, you def the right thing, come Linga suggests, right? Who is going to initiate that and how can we initiate that? How is that gonna unfold?
Well, I mean, man, so far, I mean, do direct, 2020.
Okay.
If you recall 2020, when the bill went to the parliament, Maniland don't touch our constitution.
Okay.
Because I know the parliament, they are not the ones to edit our constitution. They are not the ones to touch our constitution or to write our constitution. So, man, I feel like even the process 2020, your constitution between the parliament, I said it was constitutional on the basis of the 1997 constitution, and it did not happen. Now we have reached this point. I will continue to say that.
Okay.
But it is for the civil society.
Okay.
It is for our political parties.
Okay.
And indeed all our citizens.
Yeah.
But our political parties, particularly, now is the time they take responsibility.
Okay.
All right. You go beyond partisan interests and their partisan squabbles and all of those things. You look at the country, they have something called the inter-party committee. Then you're together. Then you're together. You what needs to be done. If that requires them to go and see the president as political party leaders, let them go and see the president and tell him this is the right process we should take.
Yeah.
I mean, President Jobarteh, because not long ago, we organized a so-called national dialogue.
Wow.
You cannot call national dialogue something like a constitution and you are taking a different route. So this is the point. I mean, because this process, I have no doubt it is going to fail.
Okay.
So they may parliament do pass.
I hope so.
Because, the parliamentarians there, they are not going to get 2/3 majority new vote together for this thing to pass. Do you agree on the change?
Yeah, but maybe
I will have to revamp all of them on the vote.
Madi gannaaw da nga bëgg a dem si I hope ne maybe comme li nga wax ñun ñëpp ku nekk mu def wala buñ toog di xaar ndax parliament bi dinañ ko pass because if we do that we will waste more time, right? Pour fu ñu war a egga but ñu may sister Ami xaw ma dafa am loo bëgg a laajte o loo bëgg a add quickly rek Madi am na benn 5 minutes bu ñu jox or less than that dafa war a dem léegi acca bismillah then ñu may brother.
Assalamualaikum. Brother Madi, sister Jukamal na ñu wow loolu comme lu ma ne loolu man upright su bu lifi ne man ma li loolu moo nekk ni Gambian si ñëpp ñu bañ and hopefully comme nu brother Madi mu wax ni ne maybe suñ National Assembly members dinañ ko reject right away loolu moo ñoo gën dimbale parce que Adama Barrow moom xam na lu tax mu isi li ni léegi ni in this short period the gap is too short near closer to the next election dafa xam ne loolu noonu dafa gis daf ko jox moom time moom pour mun a def lu moo def wante da Gambian si dañu war a sensitize naka la ndax yoon mun naa faa nekk pour suñ nit ñi ñu nekk si kaw yi si base from Koyna to Kato ñi nga xam ne ñoom understand on lu nekk si constitution bi xanaa suñu li ko faram fàccee naka lañ ko mun a lifine pour ñoom sama ñu xam in case fekkee ne sànni nañ ko ñu mun a ñu ñëw wax ne waaw dañ ko yóbbuwaat si dëkk bi ba pare ñu ñëw pour wax lifin seen noppay di wax ne waaw main opposition party moo nekk di isi problème bi si dëkk bi ñoo bëggoon constitution bu ma isi nii et ñoom duñ understand ne lu Adama Barrow wax loolu nekk loolu amul parce que Adama Barrow constitution bi nii 2020 constitution bu ne draft constitution bu ñëw ni moom daf ko kel ba pare mu génn si yëpp lu nga xam ne jox na lifin doole Gambian citizens si moom lu ko jox dooleel moom loolu la ko fa bàyyi ba pare mu dugal si ñeneen ñun lu bari te ñu suñ nit ñi duñ mën a understand loolu noonu dañu war a am suñ maam yi suñ papa yi suñ oncle yi nekk si dëkk yi pour ñu mën a xam naka lan moo fa nekk ñu faram-fàcceer leen ko pour ñu bañ ñoom tamit ñoom tamit ñëpp ñu génn si seen banta baa ñu wax ne bëgguñ leen duñ ko jël tey duñ ko jël ëllëg bu pare buñ nangu benn xaalis
léegi sister Ami ni ñoo def mooy yow dang ñu dee follow on TikTok dinañ dem TikTok so ñun ñëpp dinañ waxtaan foofu dinañ commencé di def audio yi gannaaw Madi faram-fàcceel nañu everything dinañ def vidéo si dinañ def audio si pour sensitize askan bi xam nga comme niñ ko dee defee rek waaye thank you so much ñu may brother moom tamit mu dugga su defee ñu mën a bàyyi Madi waaw thank you so much fekk ñu ok thank you bro bismillah
asalaamaaleykum
salaam noo def
waa sant rek
welcome
follow mbe Madi konton la ba nkala ko follow le well before not today up to today mbe Madi konton la de joko fombe konton la because ngeta fana follow la back
abaraka
always nkatara kasa TV la ti katara all sometimes kasa about this bill Barrow take a tab lalto aba suman gambianola a juge faba kella la fata kella because alone exactly the political party they will just use their pen and paper just like the way the Madi do it but there's no action will come out like Barrow in Senegal that the Magisala are implement la juge faba tamila the Senegal population will react. Not the parliament, but the people of Senegal react against that. Them, Barrow, and he used them. I used them.
He can hear you. He can hear you on
the thing. I need use le card you get four banku dimol be wulela because a mari nyin ka fenna ya which is very important for ntol banku dimol mota. Kana singa parliament da ma batu. Kana see oppositional battle. Told as a citizens, as a lone person, we should be come together.
I don't trust the parliament, bro. I don't trust them just by themselves.
For me, you guys is out of it. For me, it's out of it. It's a Gambians and the young boys, men and women, to come together to stay.
Definitely request.
Pour mol be funti silokan nga lo silokan nga ko watajo bay nga tendi dunia bi anabe kala mo kemelati o mo tan lulu o mo keme fulati na keta sinya kile sinya fula mol be siala de because ntam ka fama gambia nga lo ne mun bije ko ya min bije nga lo ne balo be muy use kanati ani milia ba o le ni ko screw because Barrow alone doesn't understand that. But after that, alone, go Tonya alone. All that, yeah. All that, na aku kumakamo for Dabo, but Molma understand directly. I know mean against Dabo. I need la mean because I don't know when you below it pass lale. And maybe no one knows Dabo could live in up to 20 years again, but emotionally, body language, physics, he cannot contain anything anymore. The age.
Abaraka Bake. Pour ñu mëna bàyyi Madi because xam naa ne dafa busy ñun nañ continue fi another 5 minutes like then you take but your hara because that way you can finish what you were saying later. Why Uncle Madi thank you so very much mashallah like we are really humble and so happy ne am nañ nit ku mel ni yow nga jógee ci suñu askan ñun and you know hey Gambia nañ lañu celebrate suñ nit ñi nañ lañu appreciate suñ nit ñi Gambia nañ lañu appreciate suñ nit ñi Gambia while they are here ku mel ni Madi xam nga bëgguma get emotional like barki démb rek la sa birthday passé happy belated birthday yal nga fi yàgga fi nga nekk mag si biir dëkk bi xam nga di continuer di joxe sa axa ak yelleef si dëkk bi yow ak ku mel ni coach yow ak ñoom Moussa Dieng macha allah yéen a ngi béy seen waar si dëkk bi you know what I mean obviously opposition parties we all appreciate them and stuff but particularly people like you guys nga xam ne faru lañ benn party yéen Gambia rek ngeen gis you know so thank you so much for always being you and for always being available for Gambia like ñun mënuñ laa fay Madi yal na la yàlla fay ah yeah Madi yeah thank you so much you so many things a last remarks correct but yeah thank you so much thank you we are really really humbled and proud of you and appreciate you yeah ndeysaan dem na ñu wax Madi jërëjëf mashallah wa dëgg yàlla like he is so smart Madi mashallah he is so smart Madi Coach Pasamba Mustafa Dabo is mashallah duma wax dara hadi ñëwal ñu tagato okay bro balal ma de maa ngi la dogon continuer then ñu tëj ñu dem si TikTok after
yajala I mean for brigama alo nying yelo nying la political bureau yele ka foko abidala Dabo fa Dabo bada sina ji monte akon ay jël la port molier because alone ko Dabo next 20 years Dabo tesembo sotonola ajato bala and this maybe he cannot be a UDP candidate anymore them you want to use that as a ground because Africa ruling for 20 years I want to use but ndenata la ko moy ngamira baake ngalla mala kenne ki ngalon ko this man I need to for Dabo ten
aman la fitata buguta dem
aman la fitala our 20 years means set up 10 20 years I mean set up it's not going to be only 20 years because Baro is already betrayal Molmin Bahama ko kan kanyi below set those the same people is going to be regretted tomorrow again. Oh, no doubt about it.
Abaraka. Yangi TikTok, bro. Yangi TikTok.
Wow.
Follow you, Baro must go TikTok. Then them there for after show, yeah, for us to continue this conversation. Then for the next that way I can get some work done. And then we are there like maybe probably in the next 7 hours then because I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, why did it give? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Hello, bro. Welcome.
Hello. Fainala Juka.
No def.
Deglu kati. Jamara.
Ana jaxle rek si Adama Barrow ak nguuram gi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yaa ngi doon déglu Madi li mu doon wax yëpp.
Maa ngi doon déglu Madi. Maa ngi leen doon déglu yaa ñoom xadi yëpp. Pour que da ngeen a ñëw close ni. Gis nga Barrow dafa test boppam already balaa mu indi this draft constitution you know si last lifin bi female circumcision bi bin jëlee most of the parliamentarians yóbbu leen you know creator leen padiem and all those things the same trend la moo jëlaat fii gis nga ECOWAS already intervene nañ di ko congratulate for bringing the draft constitution, you know.
Because they were pressuring him too. They were pressuring him. Yeah.
They legi IPADM la mo ñew creator the parliamentarians ak xaalis budul je pour yóbbu leen ECOWAS ñu dem toog foofu noonu ñooñu mun a understand you know but even in the diaspora here you know in the US or UK
last time bi moto la leen jënal bi yoon kër la moo nekk
exactly because xam na ne lii moom life am la moo try to protect fii ak you know all the cartels in his government you know so dañ bugga you know dañ bugga surround seen boppa si loi boo xamante ne kenn du leen munal dara te ba pare ñoom ñooy continuer di rule so li jaral na ko anything So, the parliamentarians, legi, ñun suñ yaakaar si ñoom lañ nekk, why man I don't trust them. I don't trust them anymore. So fu mu nekk Gambian yi, dañu war a jël the bull by the horn. ñu make sure ne, Barrow bu mu succeed si lii. Su demee si, balaa mu dem si parliamentarians yi, or su fa demee, let them have a consultative dialogue throughout the country. All sectors of the people have to be represented. Xam nga ñu seet what suits loo xamante ne dañ ko war a change mu nekk throughout the consultative within the country. Waaw su ko defee loolu ñu finalize ko ñu yóbbu ko ñu loolu mu dem referendum.
Right.
Why this Barrow government constitution suñ ko jëlee rek yóbbu ko si parliamentarians yi
too much time.
They're gonna waste our time. So te Barrow mu ngi pare ñoom dañ am strategy pour sàcca votes, no votes, yes votes, no su génnee bare sax ñoom already they have confidence, they have a way of rigging that pour ñoom ñu mun a am the majority. So we have to be very careful here as Gambia. Jërëjëf Juta.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, bro. Hopefully, I'm on TikTok. I'm going to follow you.
Yeah, I'll follow you.
Yeah, thank you so much. ECOWAS has not even read or understand the details. No, they don't. ECOWAS, ñom ñu ngi congratulate. Why ñom li ñu congratulate xamul ci dara. Ñom dañ
lañ def Macky Sall because li lañ defoon Macky Sall tamit. The same thing.
Gis nga ko.
Mu lifi rek ñu dooleel Macky Sall naan dugat na fele génn na fele. At the end ñu ñëw reverse seen lifi. Bi xamee ne Macky du succeed ñu ñëw the same thing lañ def. Barrow dafa ne kick rek ñoom ñu ne ci top ñu commencé
because international people lañ doon pressure, including ECOWAS.
Yeah.
ñëpp lañ doon pressure. Waaye ñoom like you said dañ bëgg mu pass dara rek ñu ne pass na dara ECOWAS ñu ngi def well African countries ñu ngi def well gala dugg na fële génnal fekk li nekk si kayit bi mu ngi ñoo rey.
Dañ waroon a seet the reaction of the Gambians. Balaa ñu start di naan waa Barrow did well. Because ñoom xamuñ what it entails. Foofu kii dafa he butchered our draft constitution in favor of his presidency. So we are not going to accept that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see you on TikTok, okay?
Thank you, bro.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hadi kon ñu wax gaay maa ngi doon message maam bi sax waaye xam naa dafa busy moom tamit dégguma ko. waaye I guess ñun ñu tàggatoo Sibo ak ñi fi nekk yëpp ñu ngi leen a gis pour ngeen baala ma rek ndax ma mun a lekk xam nga si la sant su ma xiifee lu yàggal.
Gang Barrow must go. maa ngi ni ci yooni waa yooni liggéey waaw man moom mun naa liggéey di lekk man amoon may wetu wook waaye pour wax ne ñi fi jaar ñëpp jërëjëf dégg ngeen li oncle Madi wax ñëw na leeral na yëpp li nga xam ne mu ngi nekkoon doubt si suñ mind si dégg la riid nañ ko frustrate nañ waaye dalal na xeli ñëpp pour ñi nga xam ne déglu nañ ko pour mu wax leen li tax constitution bi baaxut pour askan gi because it's only for the government.
Hadi man foofu moo gën a surprise man dégguma kenn mu wax affaire process bi waaye Madi mu ne process bi is completely wrong.
It is wrong. It is wrong. moo tax ñu photoshop ko jox ko mu téye ko ak blue yam pour mu tay ko with a smile. And Gambian bi xam nga man suma affaire rek they are too nice.
Hadi waxuloo dara si biir de Hadi waaye continuer sa wax bi daana sa wax bi ma wan la li ma defal gars yi waaye kenn waxul si dara dama leen toog leen seetaan acca continuer Hadi
waaw
lii laa def
so Gambian bi dafa naïf boo xam ne soo ñëwutee ñu wax la nga dégga wala whatsoever gars yi dañ dee fonne and we have few smart people yoo xam ne they read and understand.
A lot of them.
Wow. So thank you so much. Léegi lan nga ma defaral?
Lii laa defaral gars yi démba waaye yow faalewuloo ma.
Gisuma ko. Juka man gisuma li yónneewuloo ma ko di.
Back to sender why yo. Back to sender.
Juka yónneewuloo ma bi.
Yónnee naa ko si groupe bi di. Hara here.
Hold
on, guys.
Duka fiaulo.
Dema si guddi ma tere toog suma couch bi rek ma ne waaye yow kii dañ ko reject ak constitution yow xola back to sender Barrow yow ak constitution bi lépp lañu reject draft bi
back to sender
yow dañ la reject sa constitution yéen ñëpp reject dañ ne back to sender bilay ku nekk na dem bina sa Facebook page bi back to sender this draft constitution
Barrow
na dellu fom jógee sa xaj 19 people yu ko
Barrow na dellu buguñ ko amurunda botanan dameng dina
la ko seet Joe Farms back to sender
amurunda botanan dameng minul ya safe amurundi je
back to sender na dellu sa xaj fam jógee na fa dellu back to sender yow ak constitution bi ak 19 people yu ko créé yëpp back to sender fa ngeen dellu fa ngeen jógee dellu leen fa
no juka ñun tamit sonal lañ waa anyway waa Banjul maa ngi leen a wax ne leen thank you so much duma dem into details I love you guys waaye foog ma wax ko nag waaw déedéet suma siti non juka suma siti doo fa laal ba ma rek
man ma xaar Mamour Fana ak Latrikunda ak Buyam yooyu laa xaar Latrikunda jaamaan
non waa Banjul maa leen loof jërë leen jëf waay nit ki danga am fula fayda ñun noonu lañ ñu yaree waa Banjul fula fayda lañ am thank you so much we love you fekkale ñu TikTok maa ngi nii ci yoon bi di liggéey waaye fekkale ñu
TikTok dégg ngeen
waaw su ma àgga rek taal TikTok man may taal TikTok waaye yow juka dañ laa faya ma ne may taal waaye yow dañ laa faya si Facebook
because of tey problème waaw déedéet waaye nag da ngeen a understand si suma oncle bi la du si man te moom foog ñu baala ko moom tamit moom moo kii coach ñoo em gis nga ñoom de intellectual si luñ xam si
taxalu xamul dara si téléphone ak computer you are right
docteur ji dara la xamul si technologie dara la xamul si téléphone docteur ji su ñëw dugga si live yi dafa sonn ba mu gadi waaye anyway
thank you guys dinañ fekkante su ma aagee job rek ba setul dinaa dugga maybe in the next 45 minutes
di def ñu nag less than 45 ñi seen yaram yi dafa tànga de teflo na ngi xaar
waaw ok 30 minutes
rek man ma duga man su ma duggee may aj nit ñi man ma lekka
waaw léegi fayal ma fayal léegi nii within 2 minutes ma taal nga duga di continuer
bye bye
love you guys jërëjëf